Under this session, we'll be looking at the concept of dual labor market hypothesis. The dual labor market hypothesis argued that there are two forms of labor market that exist side by side in every economy. It is present in all economies. And these markets are formal and informal labor markets. The two forms are very essential in every economy as they account for certain activities and institutions in every labor market. Dual labor market hypothesis therefore help to advocate the characteristics of the two labor markets for comparison purposes and policy issues. The formal labor market. The formal labor market is characterized by the presence of large corporations in the public and private sectors. That is one of the essential characteristics of the formal sector. It is usually an affair of large corporation. It could be public organization, it could be private organization. And there are restrictions in entry and exit. So, or what we can say, there is difficulty in establishment process. If you want to start operating in the formal sector, you have to register with the CAC. You have a lot of legal issue to back on. Even to open a corporate account for the limited liability company becomes somehow cumbersome. So, and that is the way it is in every economy. So there are difficulty in the establishment processes. And the employment is really formal. People are engaged on valid and permanent employment contracts. And there are rigid recruitment and selection process because they recruit professionals to work in a large corporation because the work structure is formal, the work process is formal. So when you want to come in as a worker, you have to pass through certain rigid recruitment process, and it is highly capital intensive. Emphasis is always on continuous training, occasionally determined by performance evaluation, and it's characterized by the use of advanced technology, especially in the private sector. There are formal work process and structure, and it is also characterized by presence of multinational companies and large indigenous industry. The formal sector can also be further subdivided into two. You have the core sector of the formal sector, and you have the peripheral sector of the formal sector. The core sector is characterized by large corporations, that is multinational companies, and require capital and technology intensive. High capital and technology is technology intensive. It demonstrates the presence of branches across the country or world, e.g. government establishments, Shell, Chevron, MTN, Glo, Nestle. Then the peripheral is characterized by medium-sized organization, mainly services, e.g. a consulting firm, a law chamber, a small construction and production companies, microfinance bank. Now, the informal sector. The informal sector is characterized by a small scale and entrepreneurial businesses. There are free entry and free exit. It requires little capital to start up, and the employment is informal contract because it's usually you ask your brother to come and assist you, or your wife or your children, and there is no formal training. Skills are passed down intergenerational. If I'm into a particular small business now, I can introduce the business to my wife. I train my children now on how to do the business. Profit and loss are borne by the owners, and they have skill specific. They are at times a source of materials for the formal sector. There are no government regulations, no rigid recruitment and selection process, and it is very easy to establish. What are the challenges of the informal sector? Government hostility in this part of the world, or in other parts of the world, the Informal sector are highly regulated. Then you have lack of capital. No bank will want to give them loan because they are not duly registered. And lack of adequate training because their skill, they don't require formal training. It is passed down intergenerational, and some of the skills might have lost in that process. The death of the business owner implies the death of the business. Absence of modern technology and preference for foreign goods and products and services kill all these operators of the informal sector.